Okay, good morning and welcome to Iyun and Benzion, Yevamos Samech 65. I'm going to give you a pretty simple share today. It's not really so much my Kiddush. It's just more a little bit dabbling into the Rishon, and maybe some people like this more than hearing my own Kiddush. Hard for me to believe, but it could be possible. I mean, this is a sort of a stepping stone to really hearing my Chiddushim. My Chiddushim are generally after or include what the Rishonim say. I would say a different answer than the Rishonim, or try to fit my own shot into the Gemara, explain it a different way, which would preempt the Rishon's question. Uh, Iyun Benzion is a very high level. If you didn't realize that, it's higher than uh, almost any yeshiva you're going to find in the world. Almost any yeshiva, being humble. Um, Today, I'm going to give you a Gemara that is talked about a lot. As I mentioned, the regular shir, there's a special sefer, the Ritva on Yevamos, the version of the Mossad Rav Kook one, as opposed to other Ritvas on different Masechtas, the Nashim and the Zikim. It's not as big. These Yevamos, there's 2 volumes. They are huge volumes. I remember this from my yeshiva. I think they said about one of my rabbis, or Yonasan Sachs from YU, he's now the dean of Landers, Talmudic apart or whatever. He said he went through all the Ritva, both of these Ritvas in Yevamos, with all the footnotes. Most of the Sefer is footnotes. There's a little bit of Ritva on the top, tons of footnotes. On this Gemara, the Gemara on Samechem and Aleph, 5 lines from the bottom. What is the case talking about? They both have counterclaims. He claims that the reason they don't have children is her fault, right? She has some genealogical or physical defect that prevents her from having children, and she says no, it's his fault. Who do we believe? Now, this nafkamina is not about getting divorced; it's about who collects the ksuba. Now, the Mishnah the previous Mishnah we had Samech, where we have Samech Dalet. There was a Mishnah. The Mishnah says that if they wait 10 years and they don't have children, right? So Yotiv thing, Ksuba, they get divorced. The base enforces them get divorced, and he has to give her a Ksuba because, as we're going to see, we saw today that the halacha follows the Tanakama, and that a woman is not obligated to prove a. So if we have no evidence or no way of knowing whose fault it is, we blame the man, because if it's his mazel that they didn't have the ksuva, they didn't have children, because if Hashem really wanted to give them the children, he would give it on account of the man, because he's mitzuva and puravu. The woman, she's not mitzuva and puravu, so it's not her fault, right? Hashem wouldn't do a nace or wouldn't give them the children on account of the woman. He's giving them on account of the man, so he can fulfill his mitzvah. What about this case? This case is where people are actually speaking up, and people are saying so. The simple way of understanding this, a lot of Rishonim learn, is that even if before 10 years, or even after 10 years, 10 years happen, but they have claims and they have counterclaims, he's saying, no, you're right. In the normal circumstance where there's no evidence either way, I have to give the ksuba. But he says, you know what, it's her fault. Look into her genes, look into her family. She has a physical defect. She can't retain semen. She can't, vagina's too hard. There's no penetration able. So, he wants to blame her and not get off the hook of getting a ksuba, and she says no, it's his fault. And the Gemara explains that her taina is that his semen is not yorek, it doesn't shoot out like an arrow. The Gemara Nida says that any semen which doesn't shoot an arrow when the man ejaculates is not considered to be able to impregnate the woman. So it's his fault. It's his physical defect and physiological defect, and therefore he is incapable of reproduction. So therefore I should get my ksuba. The Gemara rules that we believe her. She's nem menace because she's kimla biyar v'chetz. He's not kimla biyar v'chetz. She can detect whether it shoots like an arrow. She can feel it inside of her. The man can't always feel this, if biyar v'chetz or not. He doesn't know. It's not clear to him whether it's dripping out or it shoots out. So we believe her. That's the Gemara says. So Tosos asks a question. He says the Gemara at the end of Nadarim, we'll get to Nadarim a little bit, maybe next year, soon. There's Ksubos, and I believe Nadarim's after that. So Nadarim, the last Mishnah Nadarim says that a woman who says he's not Yoreh Chetz, Originally, they said she's ne'emenes, but then they said if she makes this claim, she's not ne'emenes. She's not believed. There, she wants to get out of the marriage. Also, because we're worried that she is looking at a different man. She wants to get out of this marriage because she likes another man. Her husband's boring her. Her husband's snoring all night and is fat. And she doesn't like him anymore. She wants the other guy. The other guy looks more successful. He drives a nicer car. Um, Stereotypes. Anyway, so she wants out of the marriage. So the Mishnah Achrona says, the halacha l'maisa, we don't believe her. We don't believe her because Shema not na'ina ba'acher. So why over here do we believe her? And the Gemara in Nedarim says we don't believe her. And the same Taina over here, Yorah Keches. So the basic answer that Tosa answers is that over there she's initiating it. That's what they're saying. She's initiating the conversation over there. We have no evidence one way or the other. She comes to Basin and she says, my husband and Yorah Keches. We say, well, there's a reason you're coming to Basin. You want a different guy. You want to get out. You want to give him a gerushin and get your ksuba. Here we're talking about either the man initiated it. He came before 10 years and says it's no problem. He wants to get out of the marriage and he doesn't want to give a ksuba. Or it's after 10 years and the Beis Din is neutral. The Beis Din is initiating. They're saying you have to get married, you have to get divorced. So therefore, she's not initiating. Only when she's initiating, we're worried that she's not Dayina Bakar. She's coming, she wants to marry somebody else. But if there's no initiation on her part, we don't assume she's going to want to marry someone else. And therefore, we believe her. Now, I'll leave you off with one question, because it has to be Iyun with Benzion. It has to be Benzion. It's not Iyun with Tosfos. It's Iyun with Benzion. So, that's from the Gemara that they both have counterclaims. So, she's believed. She's believed because she can tell if he's Yarachetz or not. So, her claim is Vada, it's true. But is the pshat that the man's claim, he says, right, the man claims that it's her fault. She can't retain the semen, or there's no penetration. He can't penetrate her. So maybe it's her fault. So is the pshat that it's a suffix and vadai? Is that the pshat that his tiny the tiny suffix, and her tiny the tiny vadai? Ain't suffix most of them vadai. Like we see oftentimes in the Gemara, a vadai is better than a suffix tiny. She knows, he doesn't know. He's not clear. So therefore, the suffix and vadai, and therefore. She has the ksuba, or she get the ksuba. The vadai beats out the suffix, and she would get the ksuba. Or is the pshat, no, that even if the man could prove it, let's say the man could actually go to a doctor and they examine the woman and they see this woman is incapable of having children. Still, he's a vadai and she's a vadai. Still, the Gemara says that she is believed. Obviously, right? He's believed and she is believed. But because they both made claims, because the chazaka, the din of the Mishnah is after 10 months, 10 years, they don't have children, the halacha is, right, she gets the ksuba. You have to divorce and get the ksuba with no tainas. So once they both have tainas and they both have vade, their tainas cancel each other out. It goes back to the regular din of the Mishnah. The regular din of the Mishnah is the woman gets the ksuba. So therefore, she gets the ksuba, even they're both vadai. Now, what happened to the both vadai? So he is incapable of impregnating her, and she's incapable of being impregnated. So therefore, they cancel each other out, and we go to the regular din that Hashem would have given children to the man. Now, it's the man's fault. Or do we say no? The Gemara sounds like from the Gemara here is that she is a vadai and he's a suffix, and only that's why she gets the ksuba. But if it were he was able to prove it, then she wouldn't get the ksuba because his taina. The fact that she, if it's equal, they both have a problem. He can't impregnate her, and she can't impregnate her. She can't be impregnated. It's really the woman's fault because at the end of the day, the woman, she can't be impregnated, so he can blame it on her, and he can get out of giving the ksuva. That would be a nafkamina halacha. Look in the post, and maybe they talk about it. See you, Mishnah Yom.